The text message arrived at 6:30, just as I was packing up my desk at the office. My phone buzzed and I glanced down to see Jamie's name on the screen.
The warning. The text message arrived at 6:30, just as I was packing up my desk at the office. My phone buzzed, and I glanced down to see Jamie's name on the screen. My 8-year-old son rarely texted. He preferred voice messages or video calls, so seeing his name made my stomach tighten. "Dad, don't go home tonight. I know something about her." I stared at the words, reading them 3 times before my brain properly registered what they said. Her. He meant his mother, my wife of 10 years, Caroline. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but before I could respond, another message came through. "Please, Dad, trust me. Go to Grandma's." I rang him immediately, but the call went straight to voicemail. I tried Caroline's number next, the same result. The knot in my stomach pulled tighter. London traffic was hellish as usual, but I barely noticed the congestion as I sat white-knuckled on the tube, then sprinted the last 2 blocks to our house in Islington. The front door was locked, which was normal for this time of evening. I fumbled with my keys, my hands shaking slightly as I let myself in. "Caroline, Jamie." The house was silent, not the comfortable silence of a weekday evening, but something heavier, more oppressive. I checked the kitchen first, empty, though there were signs of dinner preparation abandoned mid-task. Chopped vegetables sat on the cutting board, beginning to brown at the edges. I took the stairs 2 at a time. Jamie's room was empty, his school uniform in a heap on the floor as usual, but his rucksack was gone. Our bedroom door was ajar, and I pushed it open slowly. Caroline sat on the edge of our bed, her face pale, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes. "He told you then," she said quietly. "It wasn't a question." "Told me what? Where's Jamie? Caroline, what's going on?" She took a shaky breath. "He's at my mother's, he's safe. I asked her to pick him up from school." "Why, what's happened?" Caroline stood, walking to the window that overlooked our small garden. The last light of the October evening was fading, casting long shadows across the lawn. "Do you remember Dr. Ashford?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I frowned. "Your oncologist from 5 years ago." She nodded. "I saw him again last month. The headaches were back, worse than before. I didn't want to worry you until I knew something definite." The room seemed to tilt slightly. I sat down heavily in the armchair by the window. "Tell me." "It's returned, the tumor. They caught it early last time, but this one's in a more difficult location. They want to operate next week." Her voice cracked. "The survival rate for this type in this location is approximately 40%. I was on my feet before I'd consciously decided to move, wrapping her in my arms. She felt impossibly fragile, trembling against me. "Why didn't you tell me straight away?" I managed to ask. "I needed time to process it, to make plans, too." She pulled back slightly, looking up at me. "To prepare Jamie, or try to. He's so clever, David, too clever. He overheard me on the phone with the hospital this afternoon, confirming the surgery date. He worked out what it meant." "The message," I said, understanding flooding through me. "He was trying to protect me, trying to give me warning before I came home to this." Caroline nodded, tears now flowing freely. "He asked me what would happen if the operation didn't work. I tried to be honest with him, age-appropriately. I told him there was a chance I might not come home from hospital. He got very quiet, then he asked to ring my mother. When she arrived, he hugged me so tightly, David. Then he told me he was going to warn you, so you wouldn't be alone when you found out." I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and called my son. This time, he answered on the second ring. "Dad," his voice was small, uncertain. "I'm here, mate. I'm with Mum. We're both okay." "I'm sorry I couldn't tell you properly. I thought if you knew before you got home, you could be ready. You wouldn't be surprised." He was trying so hard to sound brave, but I could hear the fear underneath. "You did exactly right, Jamie. You looked after both of us. That was very grown-up of you." Is Mum going to die? Caroline reached for the phone and I handed it to her. Not if I can help it, darling, she said, her voice stronger than I'd heard it all evening. The doctors are very good and I'm going to fight as hard as I can. But whatever happens, you and Dad will be together and you'll both be loved. Always. Do you understand? I could hear his small voice agreeing, asking when he could come home. Tomorrow morning, Caroline promised. Grandma's going to bring you home for breakfast and we'll all talk about this properly. As a family, is that all right? After she hung up, we stood together in our bedroom as darkness fell completely outside. Tomorrow would bring difficult conversations, treatment plans, and uncertainty. But tonight, I held my wife and thought about our 8-year-old son, who had tried to protect his father from shock and grief in the only way he knew how. He's extraordinary, I whispered. He gets that from you, Caroline replied. No, I said firmly, he gets it from both of us.